Tuesday afternoon. I love listen, here's the cool thing about the work that I get to do is I get to work with just amazing people. I can't believe they pay me for this. And I get to work, and then I get to develop amazing friendships with the people that I get to work with. It is truly a dream. And one of my good friends who have been working together for about a year, Raj, right? I think it's
Yeah,
about a
something
year.
like that.
Yeah, is so King Raj and Raj. We've had the opportunity to work together, and I was learning how your system works, and I thought, man, that is cool stuff because in business, I think you get to a point where, once things get kind of humming along, you're like, okay, we know that in business, it's a great idea to not have all your eggs in one basket. And I know that you are known for passive business systems, right? You're a big fan of identifying what are businesses that you can kind of get involved in or get started, and then you don't have to be very hands-on, because then
Correct.
there are businesses that are very hands-on. You just kind of create a job for yourself, but you kind of specialize in businesses where you don't have to be quite so active.
That's
First
correct.
off, Raj, would you mind just kind of introducing yourself a little bit? I kind of did a pretty milquetoast intro for you. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what you do?
Sure, absolutely. And thank you so much, Josh. Just a pleasure to be on here and just speak to your audience. I know the caliber of people that you always have associated with anything you're doing. So I'm just honored to be here as well and share with all of you. So they call me King Raj because Raj means king in Hindi. It's just a play on my name, I guess. But I'm basically the passive income guy, just because for over a decade now, since I left corporate America, I've been making a living through different passive income vehicles and have my investments work for me instead of me working for it. So I'm just blessed today to be a speaker, an international speaker, TEDx speaker, a business coach. Get to fly, all around the world to different events and just really help people set up these systems where we have teams of people for every vehicle that
Mm.
I've done personally. And then once it becomes successful, I'm able to vet it for my clients and try it out first and make sure it works. And once it's proven consistent, then I can share that with my clients. And that's what we're doing here. And what we're going to talk about here today is just something that's really, I think, ideal from all the different passive income industries that
Yeah.
I've done. I mean, from ATM machines, I have courses, contracts, and scripts where I teach people how they can own ATM machines. But because so many more people are shopping online today because of the pandemic, it's the automated e-commerce stores that are
Yeah.
just really profitable right now, and it's hands off to the investors with the model, with the way that we do it.
Okay, so you just said a couple of things here. First off, when I think of e-com, I think, oh boy, like it's like my friends who work in e-com right now, like December, they're like, stressed out of their mind because they're staying up. Matter of fact, I just did an interview with someone. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't get to bed till 4 a.m. I'm like, well, thank you for popping in on a 10 a.m. A podcast interview. It's like, hey, December is my Super Bowl. I'm just obsessed, with all that, and then it's a lot of work, right? So I think a lot of folks in ecom, is a lot of work. So how are you able to profit from ecom, boys? This sounds like the world's biggest softball here for you. But Raj, let me ask you, how do you profit from ecom without having to sell your soul, particularly in the month of December?
Wow, I love that you said that. I actually have no experience when it comes to what that person you speak about went through. I never thought of that. For people, I guess you're
Really?
right. For people that are actually doing
Jeez.
that work in the day to day, that makes sense. But I never honestly thought of that until you said that. I've only known that it's the Super Bowl of all year is from Thanksgiving, you have Black Friday
Yeah.
shopping sales all the way to the holidays with Christmas and New Year's. And it to be exceptional when it comes to the amount of volume you do of sales and
Customer
the amount of
service,
profits you have.
shipping,
Yeah. But
packing.
I've never thought of it from the work point of view because, like I said, we work with teams, virtual assistant teams that handle all of that 24/7, where they have a few people that pretty much manage your store that we set up, and they handle all the customer service responses and they handle all the shipping of products and everything, so that you don't have to actually ever touch the product yourself. So I don't touch any products, but I have a few stores and my clients have stores, and that's just the model we do. Just like with real estate, you can have different strategies. We have a very specific strategy when it comes to how we sell and profit from products online.
Well, as Leonardo DiCaprio would say, you had my curiosity, now you have my interest. Raj, how do we do this passively? Because it sounds great. Like, it'd be great to jump into that. Can you break it down and kind of explain generally how it works?
Sure.
And by the way, I could put yours. You gave me your slides here. Let me know if there's any of these that'd be appropriate, just based on kind of what you're talking about,
Sure.
just so folks understand.
Okay, yeah, and the way it works, I mean, most people are familiar with Amazon. They're familiar with how that business works. Where if you want a product, you just go in there and shop, and you have multiple sellers that you can buy the same product from. And what most people don't know when I speak to them is that Walmart has the same kind of setup where you have private sellers. If you go to Walmart.com, as a matter of fact, the majority of sellers on Walmart.com, the majority of products are all third-party sellers, just like you and I. They're not from Walmart itself. If you look at the fine print when you're buying products on there, you'll see it's actually from other sellers, just like Amazon.
No
And
kidding.
with that, yes, and Walmart only started doing that within the last, more recent times in the past few years, whereas Amazon has been around for over a decade, right? So they're just catching up, but people are looking at Walmart as the new the Wild Wild West sort of when it comes to e-commerce sales, because it's brand new territory and there's a lot less restrictions than other platforms like Shopify or Amazon and so forth. But nevertheless, just everything that I say about Walmart here, you can put to Amazon or Shopify. We pretty much set up
The same.
our teams, Walmart and Amazon stores, but they pretty much work the same way. And one strategy people normally do, and that's the people you're talking about, Josh, who during the holiday season, they're just like tax season when it comes to accountants, right? That's their busy time, because they do, and I've done these as well, where you have the warehousing strategy. So it's called the FBA model, which is fulfillment by Amazon. That's where you're using their warehouses, for example, and you have to pay them to store your product in their warehouses. We don't do any of that. That's not what I promote, because I just found it not to be as profitable, and it was just more headache and more expensive, because if your account gets shut down for any reason temporarily, let's say something happens where your metrics aren't right, your customer service or the reviews or anything like that, which is typical in the online marketplace. That's a downside, or these temporary suspensions, let's say, and then you have to appeal it, tell them what you're going to do differently if your metrics were down, your numbers were down. But with Amazon, if they're doing that, you're still paying the warehouse for that. Or what if China comes out, or some other country comes out with a bootleg of your product? And so that's why we don't do the one special product that's like a original product that has a huge markup, and every sale we get a big whale of a catch with that. We don't do that model, because what we like to do are just find out what products sold the most in the past month, in the past week, in the past 3 days. Something like that is what these algorithms of the software that my team uses. And they see, okay, if these products are sold the most online in this short amount of time in recent history, then chances are they're most likely going to sell a lot of those again. So that's what we do. We go into those products because we know it's a high chance of it getting sold, that have moderate markup level, nothing too big, but we do a lot of those type of products. And we stay away from certain products. Like, we stay away from food because sometimes they go bad and expire. We stay away from electronics because sometimes they go, the turnaround rate for returns are a lot higher on those. So we stay with general products, like general home merchandise products, accessories. It could be just from cell phone accessories that are not electronic, to home accessories and things like that, or office supplies. Those are good as well, where they don't have a high markup for returns, but yet they have good margins and profitability. So that's what we do. And we actually don't touch a product either. We do a model called drop shipping instead of warehousing. So drop shipping is basically where you actually do not put money up front and buy products and stock up on them up front. We only buy a product after it's sold already. I'll say that again. We only buy a product to fulfill the order after we sell it first. And that's what the team does. They're copying and pasting. A lot of this stuff is automated as well, but that's what they're doing from one platform to another. They're basically doing from Amazon to Walmart, or Walmart to Amazon, back and forth.
Yeah. So Raj, I mean, it sounds like a dream, right? So where's the like if you were in this, right? Where's the risk? Like where would you say where can this thing go sideways? Because it's like I said, it sounds like a perfect formula. Like you have to set things something up. Obviously, the team is running it and so forth.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I always curious about risk.
Yeah, and I love that as well. Me being from a technical computer background, I'm an IT guy. I look at risks, and that's what I want to know even first, or put more attention on because I'm just technical like that. So I'll
Yes.
go into. I'll actually show a slide that has some of the risks, but I just want to make sure that we touch on the benefits as well because
Yeah.
some of those, for example, what I like is you're getting paid directly from Walmart and Amazon for your
Mm,
sales, and that's what I really like because now you're not trusting some guy or a team. It's your store and you have our team manage your store. So it's
mhm.
still your store. You have all the access. You're not relying on someone else that has more control than you. You have the control and you're giving rights to the team. You're giving permissions to the team to go ahead and operate your store, but you're getting paid directly from Walmart and Amazon themselves. And then that's after you get paid from them, that's when you pay the team. The team only gets that from you. So you're not trying to hunt down someone for your funds. If anything, they're hunting you down, the
Oh,
team, because they're
geez.
saying, hey, you got paid already. Now you need to pay us. And I'm just comparing that to other companies that I've dealt with for certain investments and so forth, where you don't have that type of control. So I like that as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And if I recall correctly, there basically there's just kind of like there's a window, right? So you sell the product and then you get paid was like a 2 weeks later or something like that, right?
yes, exactly. So that's actually the problem that we as business owners get to solve, and I'll tell you more about that if you go a couple slides ahead to the
Yeah.
slide page 9 where it says benefits at the top.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Sure, great. And I told you already about the strategy we use with drop shipping so that we're not stocking up on products. And another just way that people, I personally love to get rewarded are credit card rebates. I'm a travel hacker. I love to travel and get a lot of points and things like that, so I can have free travel. And with the credit card rewards alone, let's say your typical store, which we do, we try to set that as a minimum for a store to do 50K of sales, $50,000 a month in sales as our minimum average. And we see stores doing that sometimes our second, third month. We usually see stores that can get up to that $50,000 of sales. And if you have a cashback credit card, for example, which we show you
Hmm.
how to get as well, I teach that also, with 3% cashback, then on 50K a month, that's $1,500 monthly you're getting just on credit card rebates, which are, according to the IRS, non-taxable, right?
Hmm.
1,500 bucks. So that's what I use for my tech gadgets and designer things or play funds and things like that. And it adds up. If you're getting $1,500 a month
Yeah.
in rebates, then that's $18,000 a year that you're getting outside of what the profits were. This is just extra,
Yeah.
right? The cashback rewards. And if you have a card that does more, or you do more volume, I mean, there's stores that do 100K, over 100K. It all depends on what you have as your working capital monthly on credit to go over. And I'll explain some more of that as well. But what I like the credit cards for, a lot of the cards for airlines and hotels,
Hmm.
if you do a certain limit, then you get their where you charge a certain amount on their card, then you have their elite statuses with the hotels for upgrades and even free rooms, and same thing with travel credits and all of that. And I show you how to do all that stuff as well. But there's a lot more benefits to it outside of the profits you're getting from the store itself, which is still great. Even when it comes to business credit, business funding, it's actual products going through your business. If you go on your credit cards, you'll see all the charges from Amazon and Walmart there, and the profits from there as well. When they pay you, you can show that to a bank or a credit union after a few months, and they see you legitimately have that amount of products going through your business, without having a brick and mortar store, but it's legitimate use of those funds. And then we see people get typically a lot of business funding as well as more
Yes.
credit lines and so forth, because you show that you have actual business doing that type
I
of
Yeah, this
product.
is an area that I actually have a lot of experience in because I've worked with some really, really great people that teach and provide tools for building business credit. When you have really good business credit, it's I mean, it's like you'll get credit card offers for like $50,000, 0% interest for like your first year, stuff like that, right? It's like your SBA loans, like all that other stuff. Like it gets really inexpensive. The money is pretty plentiful, and you don't have to pay the, the ridiculous rates that you'll get from a lot of your cabbages and your on decks and your alternative business funding. You don't ever have to mess with those people. So if you ever did want access to capital, once you build up your credit, your business credit, there's plentiful money for productive debt, should you ever decide to do that. So this is a really great way to kind of build up that business credit if you ever wanted to pursue business OPM.
You're absolutely right. And that's what we teach you how to do as well, where you're not using your personal social security number anymore, but you're having credit that's on your EIN number, your company's credit instead, where it's not attached to you personally. There's no personal guarantee. So yes, a lot of benefits with that. And what I love as well is that you're leveraging credit and building credit as well, building business credit, personal credit, but you're just leveraging your credit for the month-to-month spend, which I'll go into, which is where you need your credit cards, how you get the charges on your credit cards from the products and so forth. But you're leveraging your credit, and I love to leverage everything I have. So if I have luxury vehicles, then I'm leveraging them out by getting paid to drive them, because I have systems where I rent them out and I get paid to drive that because it makes money for me having those. Same thing with private jets or homes. There's Airbnb with private jets. There's membership programs, and you have people on them you can leverage and make money from it. It's not always about it being a liability. It can actually be an asset to you, making money for it, because there's ways like you can have Airbnb, let's say homes or property, without owning that property. So the same thing here, you can make money online without having these products that you own, just by doing this strategy, and you're just leveraging your credit. And the way that works is, the negative is that it takes Amazon and Walmart 2 weeks on average to pay you once you sell a product on their platform.
So that's the thing. So that's the thing. So if you can stomach that and you could just build that into your business plan, then guess what? You're in the land, you're in the land of passive revenue right here. And that's, for what I understand, you're the expert on this, but as you've explained this to me, that's really it. That's the business. You just have to be able to, manage that gap there. And if you could do that, then there's some pretty good profit there. And I'm hoping maybe you could kind of talk about maybe hypothetical numbers what you've seen, and just in terms of the opportunity. Because I think a lot of people might look at this and say, okay, well, let's see, I could invest in Bitcoin or real estate or, whatever those things are. And there are pros and cons to everything, but, it'd be really fun to kind of maybe consider what's possible here.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you about some of those numbers as well. Just other things that we do. So you mentioned that holdover period of 2 weeks before they pay you after you sell something. So what happens is someone buys a product from your store. So your store gets that sale, you have to fulfill the order. So now you have to go buy it from another platform. Let's say you have an Amazon store, you have to buy it from Walmart. So it has to go on a credit card. So then you can ship that directly to the client, the customer. Right. So that's where the holdover is for 2 weeks, because it takes that time before Amazon pays you. Why? Because they want to make sure that you're not going to shut down your store, not, and take the money and not deliver the product. So they want to make sure it's in the customer's best interest that it's a 2 week period. So you send out the products and then they get paid. So that's why the virtual assistant teams that we have doing the work, they can't stomach it. They may not have credit to have that holdover period. If you're doing 50K a month, that would have meant 50K, or half of that, let's say 25K for 2 weeks, you had to have credit for, right? So they don't have that. That's why they need us as business owners, as investors that have the credit. And we need them because we don't want to do what they're doing, staring at a screen for 24/7 like they are. But that's where the good partnership comes in. We both need each other. And especially because we have a profit sharing split, which I'll go into. I love that model because now they have a vested interest, the team, to make sure the store keeps performing, because that's how they get paid, based on the performance. So if it does nothing, they get nothing. So that's why, it's they want to grow it as much as they can. And I love that. So if there's any change where Google changes an algorithm, or like, Facebook ads, whenever anyone in the online space, and there's a change from the company, then everyone is stressed up at night. They can't sleep. They have to figure out a fix. I don't have to do that. My clients don't have to do that, because the team, that's their business.
That's their job.
They will figure it out. So
For sure.
I can sleep good knowing that. And I don't have that stress. I'm telling you, I don't at all. And Josh, if you go to the next slide, even it just explains
Yep.
more benefits. We can get into some of the numbers as well.
You bet. What I want to do is I want to make sure, Raj, you're again, you're a good friend of mine. I have immense trust for you as well. My recommendation is someone's watching this right now and you're like, wow, this sounds really great. Okay, drop shipping versus FBA. I've heard of FBA. My recommendation, just book some time with Raj. And in fact, if you go to, and here's the website right here. If you go to bookkingraj.com, go ahead and pick a time. Maybe not tomorrow, like I just did. But yeah, so just punch in here. Do me a favor. Just type my name here where it says, who are you referred by? Just to let Raj know that this was valuable and you appreciated doing this live stream, and and that I helped connect. But just go ahead and schedule some time right here with Raj. Raj, what do you do on a quick call? Looks like a 15-minute call.
I go through Zoom and just give them this presentation that you're going through here, but I would be able to show them more of the back office. I like to just show in real time, let people just see me logging into the different stores and letting them see in real time what the stores are doing, how it works on the back end, the back office. You also have access to a spreadsheet, which you'll see when you go to the more benefits, the next page on the slide there, you'll see that you have a Google spreadsheet as well. Every store has that's updated in real time from the team while they're updating it, with every transaction that's made. So you have access to that, it is your store. So, and it says at the top of this sheet, just the average store profits we've been seeing are 15% to 35% on average monthly. And that's before the team's cut. So that would be what your store is doing. So basically, and of course it says your past performance does not guarantee future profits, of course, for anything, right? But we've seen that to be pretty consistent. So that means, let's say someone is doing, which is the average minimum we recommend, 50K of sales, monthly, which let's say an average of 50K is on your credit card per month. And it could be across multiple cards, multiple people, that's fine. But we're seeing the return on what you spent is typically about 15% to 35% every month, which are high numbers. It's just great. We've been seeing that consistently. And like I said, there's a 24/7 access to the spreadsheet and profit sharing split with your team. So they're incentivized for you to be profitable. And this next slide after that is what you asked me about, Josh, where you said it's my favorite one because I want to know the risks.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And so the risks here's what the risks are. You have to have the credit, right? Because if I go through negotiating on your behalf for my clients, a setup price with the team, so there's basically an upfront cost to setting up the store, and then there's the monthly fee out of your profits that the team takes, every month that you would have to pay them. So there's two different costs. One is the upfront fee to set up your store, and then is the monthly profits. It's that percentage, and it's based on what you put up front to set up your store. Then the team could put more, programs and software and all the stuff they do. They can put more things in your store, strategies, so that you can profit more, and then you would get more of the split monthly the more you put down. So that's basically how it is. And I have all those numbers you can see, but some of the risks I mentioned is if your credit cards get closed, for example, then that's a problem. So you want to make sure you have either cash or more credit available, because that's the only time that the team would, let's say, get on my case or your case, because they're going into this with you to expect that you'll stay with them for a year, 2 years and more, because they're going to be, doing that work for your team. So you want to make sure that you have enough credit, at least 50K a month, to get charged on your card. Stores can get suspended, like I say, but we help to appeal and get those stores, back. They're just common in the industry. It's kind of like if you're a landlord, eventually you're probably going to have an eviction. So you just got to know how to deal with that once it happens. Other small fees, monthly tax filing, Walmart fees, etc., might just be $100 or so a month.
Yeah.
And let's see, no guarantees. It says takes time to set up initially. The first payment from Walmart or Amazon could take anywhere from, the average is about 3 months. We've seen less than that, but that's what they say in their official stuff online. So we want to just honor that as well. So the first time, because they want to make sure you're not trying to sell a bunch of products and then close down your store. So that's some of the risks that we've seen, Josh.
Awesome. That's great. But yeah, in terms of potential, because obviously we want to look at, okay, where can it go sideways? Where can it go right? Just kind of some quick back of the envelope math here. Like, you can do all right If you're producing $20,000 in volume, that's a good gig.
Yeah, and we see that very easily when I say that. I mean, that's not the stretch. That's not, they're very conservative numbers. The team, actually, I've never seen where they can't do even more volume of selling.
Yeah.
It's just in the way that they do their business. The only limit that we typically have is someone's access to credit. So
Yes.
if you
Right.
have 100K of credit available, then they can get up there very easily, very soon. I've never seen a problem with that. If you have more, then more, and then that adds to your profit as well. And let's talk about the cost, right? How much does it take to set up the store? The upfront cost can range anywhere from 25K to 100K. 25K to 100K. That's what we recommend, any of those. So it depends. As you go lower to the 25K up front, then you get a smaller percentage of the split on the back end monthly. As you go higher, then you get more of it. But that's typically what we show. And if you were to finance that upfront fee, or even put it on a credit card where you're leveraging it, even a 0% credit card, or if you need help, we work with companies that help with financing for these actual online stores.
Yeah.
Then you're just leveraging it. You can come nothing out of pocket and just use credit for it, right? And the profit share team split monthly, that goes anywhere from 50% to 75% is what they would charge, depending on how much you put up front. So obviously, if you put lower, closer to the 25K, then you would have 75% is what the team of the monthly split would take of the profits.
I see.
Or if you have more, it just depends there.
Yeah. So someone can call you and you can kind of work through all these numbers. And then, to me, this just seems like, well, one of these things where it's like, well, let's just run the numbers and see how it looks. And I would imagine in your 15-minute calls, it's a lot of like, let's just look at the numbers and kind of talk about, is terms of like credit, what the expectation may be. But the potential is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And we do other things as well. It's just a short amount of time we have today to tell you all the benefits and so forth. But one of the things we also do is apply on your behalf to the different states for reseller tax certificates, so that way you don't have to pay taxes when you're buying the products, because you're not buying it for yourself as a consumer. You're buying it only to sell it again as a reseller. So now you can get the tax certificates for the different states, but you have to go to those different state websites and apply. So we do all that work for you, which can take a lot of hours to do that. And that way you can not pay taxes on those purchases and pass it down to the, just to the buyer when they buy it from you. So that increases your profit margin as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Raj, this is really great. So again, you and I have been friends for quite a while. You can go to the website bookkingraj.com, and there it is right there. You can see your picture, you and Richard Branson. How did that photo happen?
Well, he wanted a picture of me. No, I'm kidding. Been able to,
tracking me down. It's like, come on, Raj, selfie. Good.
It meant a lot to me just to get, meet him a few times at a couple different events. And great guy. Just look at him as an idol when it comes to just business and so forth. And what I love about getting, back to the passive income, just having different vehicles, is that work for me and teams work for me, so that I could do what I really love to do, which is to just travel the world and meet people and so forth, just because I have these systems set up.
Yeah. So just grab one of these times right here this week, next week, and then do me a favor. Just in here where it says who are we referred to, just type in my name, Josh, and then that'll let Raj know that you appreciated this information. Raj, very, very cool. In terms of like, I think of like, business number 2 or business revenue stream number 2 or 3, right? Is you got to have something that's not going to, I don't mind if there's some setup in the beginning. But it's like, if my main thing is my main company, I want something that I can kind of put my hands in. I want to leverage some of the things that I've been able to do, or my experience or my business credit, something like that, and put it to work for me, and have, a team that knows what they're doing. And you are the passive income artiste, as they say. So
Thanks,
you're a good guy to know, Raj. Again, your website, bookkingraj.com, and then just grab a time, grab 15 minutes with Raj. Raj is good. He's a good guy. So, and any final things here in our last minute?
Thanks so much, Josh. I just want to say thank you again for allowing me to share with your audience. I mean, this is really what I love doing. Grew up in a single parent household, where parents were split and so forth, and money was always an issue. Couldn't go to the school I wanted, that I got a partial scholarship for, because we didn't have enough funds. So at a young age, I realized the impact of what passive income could mean, where you're not always out working, where you have time with your family, and because of these systems working for you. So
Yeah.
you've allowed me to just share this with more people, and it's a passion of mine. So thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, Daniel Faust, I can see the comments. By the way, even if you're watching this after, I generally get tagged whenever you respond to this video. So Daniel Faust said, so this is a next level of business. Cool. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. But yeah, again, bookkingraj.com. Raj Singh, my good friend, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Really, really, really cool to kind of look at what's possible with the drop shipping strategy, and like
Yeah.
exactly how you do that in the, kind of more of a hands-off way. So thank you,
Thanks,
Raj. I
Josh.
really appreciate it.
And also, just to say, for Daniel's comment, next level of business, it could be the next level, it could be another level. That's what I like about it, is it's you don't have to do this and stop anything else you're doing. This is just another way to diversify, because it doesn't take a lot of time at all for you. So you can still do whatever you're doing, just have another vehicle added to that portfolio. Thanks again,
Love
Josh.
it. Love it. Thanks so much, Raj. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for watching.